I always thought my grandfather was a little strange. Not in a scary way, just odd. He had rules. Lots of them. No playing outside after dark. No staying over without my permission. And the most important, never, ever go near the door at the end of the hallway. He said it was where he kept old tax records. But even as a child, I could feel something off about that door. It had a rusty padlock and a weird chill around it. Like the air got heavier when you stood near it too long. I asked him once why the padlock was so old. He smiled and said, "Some things are better left untouched." I dropped it after that. Kids don't question things when they're taught to be scared. When Grandpa passed away last year, my mother inherited the house. She didn't seem thrilled about it. She mumbled something like, "Finally," under her breath the day we got the keys. We moved in temporarily while our own place was being renovated. It was supposed to be just a couple months, but everything felt wrong, like the house had been waiting for us. The hallway with the small door always seemed colder. And the weirdest part? I could swear I heard whispering. At first, I thought it was my daughter, Zoe, talking in her sleep. But one night, I heard it while she was sitting next to me, coloring. "Mommy," she said, not looking up. "Why is Grandpa whispering in the hallway?" I didn't answer. I told myself it was just an old house playing tricks. Pipes, wind, stress from losing Grandpa. But the dream started. In them, I'd be standing in the hallway, staring at that door. It would creak open slowly, and from inside, I'd hear a sobbing child, and a voice whispering my name. Every time I'd wake up drenched in sweat, heart pounding. One stormy evening, the power flickered out. I lit a candle and went searching for the fuse box. As I passed the hallway, I felt a strange pull, like gravity itself changed. I don't know what came over me. Maybe I was tired of being afraid. Maybe I just wanted answers. I grabbed a crowbar from the garage and pried the old lock open. The smell hit me first. Dust, mold, and something sour. The door creaked open slowly, revealing a musty, windowless room. Inside were stacks of old journals, boxes, and a bed. A tiny, rusted bed frame. Chains still hung from its posts. I shivered. My stomach clenched. On the nightstand was a photograph. I picked it up with trembling fingers. It was my mother, no older than 6. She was sitting on the bed, wrists bound in chains. Her eyes wide in terror. Behind her stood Grandpa, smiling faintly. I dropped the photo. Heart racing, I opened one of the journals. It was dated decades ago, each page filled with erratic, messy handwriting. Day 3, the voices are louder now. She won't stop crying. I must keep her here until she's clean. The family secret is rooted in the blood. If not locked away, it spreads. The pages got darker, more delusional. Talk of possession, cleansing, and the blood curse. I confronted my mother the next morning. Her face went pale. She didn't speak for a full minute. Then, softly, she said, "It was necessary. He didn't want the curse to take us all." I pressed her for more, but she just stared blankly at her coffee. "I don't want to remember," she said. He tried to stop it the only way he knew how. That night, the whispering returned. Clearer, closer. When I checked the hallway, the door was shut and locked from the inside. The next morning, Zoe came to me quietly. "Grandpa talked to me last night," she said. I froze. He said I'm special like Mommy was. He said I have the gift. I didn't know what to say. That night, I sat outside the door with the candle burning low. Inside, I could hear movement. A shuffle, a whisper, then silence. I stared at the door for what felt like hours. Then I whispered, "What do you want?" A pause. Then, from the other side. To continue. That was 2 weeks ago. Now, Zoe talks to the hallway every night. Sometimes I see her standing there, holding something in her hands. Once, I looked closer and saw she was cradling an old photograph, the one I had left inside. She smiled at me and whispered, "He says we don't have to be afraid anymore." I tried to move us out, but every attempt fails. Realtors vanish. My car won't start. Our house's renovation got mysteriously halted. My mother sits on the porch all day, staring at the trees. I asked her again what happened in that room. She only said, "Some things are inherited. Not just money. Not just names." Last night, Zoe came into my room at 3 a.m. Her eyes were wide open, but she wasn't awake. She said in a voice not her own, "The blood must continue. The door must remain." Then she went back to bed. This morning, I found the door open again. Inside, the chains were gone, but a small figure was lying on the bed. It looked like Zoe, but she was still sleeping in her room. I blinked, and it was gone. Now, I hear footsteps in the hallway every night. The photo is back on the table, and the journal's latest entry reads, "Day 1, the new vessel has arrived." I never had a sister. That's what my parents told me, so I never questioned why the attic was locked, or why I'd hear faint tapping from above my bedroom at night. Old houses make noise. I was used to it. But when my mother died and I inherited the house, the lie began to unravel. It didn't happen all at once, just quiet, chilling pieces falling into place. The first night I slept in my childhood bedroom again, I had a dream. A girl stood at the foot of my bed. She had long black hair and pale skin. She was wearing an old-fashioned nightgown, identical to one I remember wearing when I was maybe 5. But the most disturbing thing? She looked exactly like me. Same face, same eyes, except hers were glassy and dead. She whispered, "You took my life." I woke up in a sweat. I told myself it was grief, stress. A childhood home brings up memories. But the next night, I heard it again, right above me. Then a low dragging sound, like something was being pulled across the attic floor. I decided to check it out. The attic had always been locked with a heavy latch, but now I had the keys to everything. I opened it. Dust fell like snow from the beams above. The attic was small, cramped, filled with old boxes, but in the center was a child's rocking chair, perfectly clean. It rocked slightly as I stepped forward. No breeze, no movement, just the sound of creaking wood. Then I saw the carvings, etched deep into the wood near the far wall. Words, over and over, repeated like a mantra. One must stay, one must go, one must stay, one must go. My chest tightened. I opened a box labeled birthdays. Inside were dozens of photo albums. I flipped through them quickly. Every birthday I remembered was there, except there were 2 of me. In every picture, matching dresses, matching hair, one of them circled in red ink. I stared in disbelief. I'd never seen these photos before, never heard of a sister. I called my uncle, the only relative I had left on my mother's side. He answered groggily. I asked him straight out, "Did I have a twin?" Silence. Then a sigh. You weren't supposed to find out." I gripped the phone tighter. "What do you mean? Who is she?" Another pause. "Her name was Emily. You were born minutes apart. But she wasn't like you." I sat down on the attic floor. "What does that mean?" I whispered. "She hurt animals," he said. "She would smile while doing it. She tried to drown a neighbor's baby once. Your mother couldn't take it. When she turned 5, she locked her up there. Up here." I whispered, horrified. Yes, but she died. 6 years old. Never saw sunlight again. I couldn't speak. He added, they tried to cover it up. Pretend she never existed. I stared around the attic. Dust, cobwebs, and the rocking chair that had now stopped moving. That night, I heard humming. A soft lullaby. It was the same one my mother used to sing when I was little. I hadn't heard it in 20 years, but it was coming from the attic. I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling until morning. When I finally got out of bed, I noticed something odd. The attic door was wide open. I had locked it the night before. On the floor, written in the dust, were 4 chilling words. Now it's your turn. I left the house for the day, tried to distract myself, but I felt watched, followed. When I returned at night, I found the photo albums stacked neatly on my bed, all of them open to the same image. My 5th birthday. 2 girls, one circled in red. Only this time, the circle wasn't ink. It was scratched in violently, and it was around me. I decided to pack a bag and stay with a friend. But before I could leave, the power went out. Total darkness. Then I heard the footsteps. Small, bare feet, across the wooden floor above. And then laughter. High-pitched, playful, coming down the attic stairs. I froze, held my breath. The laughter stopped. Then a whisper behind me. One must stay. I turned quickly. No one. I left that night. Stayed at a hotel. When I returned the next day, things were missing. My mirror was broken. My toothbrush had been chewed on. And on the wall, in red crayon. I remember now. You got the hugs. I got the dark. I reached out to a local historian, curious about the house's records. He found the original birth certificate. 2 names, Rachel and Emily Byrne. Date of birth, March 22nd. Parents, Thomas and Lillian Byrne. I was stunned. He also found a report from Child Services, sealed but redacted. It mentioned neglect. Anonymous reports of strange noises from the attic. Then, nothing. It just stopped. I couldn't stay away. I had to know if it was real. So I returned, this time with my friend, Natalie. She didn't believe me, but agreed to spend the night. We set up cameras, voice recorders, salt around the attic door, old ghost hunter tricks. Nothing happened for hours. Then at 2:11 a.m., the camera flickered. Natalie pointed at the screen. A little girl, standing in the hallway. Back to the camera, wearing a nightgown. Natalie rushed upstairs to check. I followed. The hallway was empty. The attic door closed. But on the camera, the girl was still there. Same position. Only now, her head had turned slightly, looking toward the screen. We stared, frozen. Then the feed cut to static. Natalie left in the morning. She didn't say goodbye. She blocked my number that same day. I stayed one more night. Stupid, I know, but I couldn't leave it unfinished. At 3 a.m., the lullaby returned. Soft, sweet, then sharp banging from the attic. I opened the door. Inside was the rocking chair, and sitting in it was Emily. She looked exactly like me, but thinner, pale, bruised. She smiled. "It's your turn now," she whispered. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. She lunged at me. I ran, slamming the door behind me. I locked it, shoved a chair under the handle, and collapsed in tears. When I opened my eyes, it was morning, bright, warm, quiet. I checked the attic. Empty. The rocking chair was gone. So were the carvings. And all the photo albums. I sold the house a week later. Moved 2 states away. Tried to forget. But sometimes, when I'm alone in my apartment at night, I hear tapping from above, and in the mirror, I see her, smiling behind me. Some family secrets don't stay buried. They wait until it's your turn. When my father died, I expected grief. What I didn't expect was the second phone. It was old, hidden beneath rags in his garage tool chest. A cracked flip phone, barely holding charge. I was about to toss it in the bin, until I saw it had messages. Dozens, all from one number, labeled L. The text started 3 years ago. Please call. She's getting worse. You promised you'd come see her. Do you still love us? And finally, one that chilled my spine. If you don't come soon, she'll forget who you are. Maybe I will too. I thought it was a mistake. A scam, maybe. My father had been married to my mother for 38 years. They lived a quiet, ordinary life in Maine. He worked maintenance, loved fishing, never traveled. The idea of another woman, let alone another family, felt impossible. But something gnawed at me. I called the number. It rang twice, then picked up. A woman's voice, soft and wary. Frank. My heart skipped. No, this is his son, I said. Who is this? Silence. Then a faint exhale. You don't know, do you? We agreed to meet at a small cafe in Vermont. Her name was Linda. Mid-40s, blonde, eyes sunken from years of waiting. She told me my father had met her during a work trip over 2 decades ago. They had been together ever since, on and off. He'd visit every few months, stay for a weekend, and leave before Monday morning. He had a second home, a second life, and a daughter. Her name was Sarah. She was 17 now. He loved her, Linda said, tears brimming. But he changed after she turned 13. I asked what she meant. She looked down, whispering. He said she reminded him of someone he lost. Then, he started staying away. I didn't know what to think. My father, the quiet man who taught me how to ride a bike, had another daughter, and he abandoned her? Where is Sarah now? I asked. Linda hesitated. You can meet her, but it's better if you come during the day. I drove out the next morning. They lived in a cabin deep in the woods, isolated and worn, with overgrown weeds strangling the porch. Sarah sat on a rocking chair, legs folded beneath her. She was pale, thin, eyes too big for her face. She didn't speak, just stared. When Linda introduced me, Sarah tilted her head. You're the real one, she said. I tried to talk with her about school, books, music. She didn't respond to any of it. Instead, she asked, do you ever dream of someone else living your life? I froze. She smiled faintly. Dad did. I left feeling unsettled. I told Linda I'd be in touch. That night, I went through my father's belongings. In his closet, hidden behind winter coats, was a small locked box. I broke it open. Inside were letters, dozens of them, all addressed to my second Sarah. I read one. She looks like her. Same eyes, same silence. But this one doesn't scream. Not yet. Linda says she sleepwalks, talks to the mirror. I see the other girl in her. I can't let it happen again. I won't bury another daughter. What did he mean? Another daughter? I asked my mother. She went silent, then poured herself a drink. There was another child. Before you. She died. At 5. She fell down the stairs. Her voice cracked. Your father never forgave himself. He said he saw her sometimes. In mirrors. In dreams. Everything connected in a sickening spiral. My father saw Sarah as the ghost of the daughter he lost. Not a second chance, but a second curse. I called Linda. You need to get her help, I said. Take her to a doctor. Linda paused. You don't understand, she whispered. There's nothing to fix. It's not her mind. It's the thing inside her. I returned to the cabin. Sarah was waiting at the window. She waved. I entered the house. Linda wasn't there. Where's your mom? I asked. She's resting, Sarah said. She's been tired since the voices came back. The walls were covered in pages. Drawings. Scribbled notes. All signed with an S. I see her again. In the mirror. She wants to come back. He made the wrong choice. I walked to the basement door. It was open. Don't go down, Sarah said softly. She's waiting. I stepped into the dark. The air was thick, cold. Candles were scattered in a circle on the floor. Photos of my father. And in the center, a small porcelain doll. Its eyes were black. Its dress, the same as the one I wore in a photo from when I was 5. How did it get here? I turned. Sarah was standing behind me. He tried to bury her, but she stayed. She found me. The air trembled. A whisper, not hers, echoed. He chose the wrong one. The candles blew out. I blacked out. When I woke, it was morning. The cabin was empty. No sign of Linda or Sarah. I called the police. They searched the woods, the house, the basement. No one, not even furniture, like it had never been lived in. But the doll, they found it buried under the basement floor, wrapped in my father's fishing vest. 3 weeks later, I got a letter. No return address. Inside was a photo. Me at 5, holding hands with another girl, identical to me. On the back, in my father's handwriting. 2 lives. 1 soul. I failed both. I don't know if Sarah was real, or if she was something else. I dream about her now. She's older. Looks more like me each time. She never speaks. Just points at a mirror behind me. And in that mirror, I see 2 of myself. Some family secrets aren't forgotten. They're replaced, rewritten, until someone remembers.